upon?
Yeah, so it was it's inspired by something that happened to me. I was the cab driver when I was on the floor and I was on the Daily Show. Once gave me a ride from the exchange to the studio, and he recognized me because he'd seen me on TV, and along the way I had to stop at home because I had to go up and get some stuff before I went to the Daily Show to the studio, and so he knew where I lived, and he was my family's from Pakistan, and this guy was also from Pakistan, and he knew my name because he'd seen it on television, and he just felt that it was okay to be familiar and become my best friend. Now, I was very nice and very civil to him, and he just wanted to. He had all these kind of preconceived notions about America based on his education and how he had grown up and his circumstances, and he would just he'd show up at my house. Like, you know, that night he just came and rang my buzzer at 3 a.m, and he just wanted to take me out to dinner, and he's like, let me take you out for some good Pakistani food, and he wanted to hang out with me all the time, which was kind of creepy and weird, but I initially just kept discounting it as, well, he probably doesn't know the social dynamics, and there was also a certain degree of, well, I don't want to be rude to him. I don't want to be a jerk to him because he is being nice in his own way. And so when I politely tried to tell him that I didn't want to do these things with him, he took umbrage to it. He was very offended.
Oh boy.
And that also is a cultural thing. So it kind of, and then he started kind of semi-stalking me in a way, because he wouldn't do anything, he wouldn't say anything, he wasn't aggressive. He'd just hang around my apartment building all the time. Like, I'd look out my window and he'd be parked, his cab would be parked, and he'd be sitting there. And it just kind of made me think about people who come here from other countries, and yes, this is the land of immigrants, and I'm an immigrant, but that sort of that initial where when you put the raw material in the melting pot, right, and it's this material that comes from another place, like, what are some of the fumes that come from that, and what does that mean for everyone else? So that's really what it started to make me think of, that assimilation. How long does it take? How much of this outside otherworld baggage is good, and what does that mean? So that's really what inspired me to write this. But I mean, the screenplay, my story is not that dramatic. What happened to me?
The screenplay or the movie or the book is always more exciting.
The movie is a million times better. So yes. So if anyone wants to support this, do it, because it's a million times better.
But the
than the way
themes are great, and like I said, and it's a brave. When people see it, they'll see it's. You really delve into things and you don't pull any punches, which I think is really, really good. You told me about, and I wrote down here in my notes, I just called it the visual. I have 4 exclamation points after it. So let's talk about the visual and about visualizing things as you write. It's so interesting to me. So what's your visual?
For this screenplay or in general?
No, the visual, the one you told me on the 59th Street Bridge.
Oh yeah, so I have this. So I think I never think in terms of ideas, which is why when people come and say that I have an idea for something, I don't know what that generally means, because for me I have to be able to see it. Like, I think in pictures. Okay. So sometimes I'll get a visual of some kind, and then it just kind of stays with me, and then I spend a lot of time trying to just shoehorn that into whatever I'm working on. Now, many times I'm successful in doing that. Sometimes I'm not. So there's one which I've been nursing for about 15 years, and I have not been able to find a home for this one yet.
Okay.
But I haven't given up because I'm too stupid to quit.
That's right.
And it's a visual of a guy on the 59th Street Bridge, and he gets a really sad letter. And you can tell that this is an old visual, because who writes letters anymore, right? Because he'd get this as an instant message today. So it's kind of he gets this letter, and then he rips it up, and then he throws it off the bridge. And when we cut to the wide shot of the bridge, those like little pieces of paper, just like it's like a giant bucket of confetti that he's dumped. Then we pull back even further, and that giant bucket of confetti has become like a snowstorm, and then the New York City is just covered in snow.
Wow.
So I don't know what that means.
I think it means a lot. You know what
it
makes me think of? It makes me think of in Casablanca when Rick is at the train station and he's holding the note from Ilsa, and the raindrops is making the ink run down the page.
Yeah.
How great is that?
Yeah, it's a beautiful visual. So I have this, and I would like to fit this into something. I just don't know what yet. So I think about it at least once every couple of days. Yeah. It's not going to be in my movie in Off Duty, but maybe in a future movie of some sort.
Yeah. It's funny how you're being a screenwriter and a filmmaker. You think in visuals. See, I think in sentences or in lines or in phrases. Like, I know what the last word of my next book is going to be. I know what it's going to be. And I've only written like 10,000 words. So I'm far from having it completed, but I know what the last word is going to be in the book. So
what is it going to be?
The last word is going to be drive.
Drive.
That's
a good last word. That's a good word.
It has movement. It's an action word.
Continuation, right?
Continuation. Yep. Yeah.
It's something is ending. I mean, obviously, but it's also there's something new.
Yeah. Well, actually, you're going to drive, and there's a book. Yeah, it's going to be the first book in a series, but that's a long way off.
John, I like it. Sold.
Excuse me?
I like it. Sold. Yeah. I like it. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, I'll send you the manuscript. You keep a lot of notebooks, don't you? That's what you told me.
I
do.
Keep
a lot of notebooks around.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people sometimes they get ideas about what they want to do and they don't know how to express it. Don't know what to do. Help those fledgling screenwriters out there. What do you do?
So the two things I'm terrified of, and it's happened to me a lot, is I'll get an idea for something, or I'll think of something that I want to write or whatever, like a phrase or a sentence or a line of dialogue or a situation, and then I won't have anything to write it down with, or I'll be lazy and I'll say I'll remember it, and then it just disappears, and then a few hours or a few days later I'll be like, what was that thing? I knew it was really cool when I thought of it, but what was it? And it's gone forever. So I have notebooks stashed everywhere, and I always have a notebook with me, and it's things from like a whole page, like a little mini essay, to several pages, to just a phrase or two words, or a quick little sketch, a drawing of some sort. And what I do with those is when I am writing or when I'm doing something and I do get stuck sometimes, I stop and I go back to those, and I just kind of like to go through them, because it's just fun to look at these things. That some of them I've woken up in the middle of the night and just scribbled something and then gone back to sleep, and it's like, wait, what was I saying there? Trying to figure that out, and then other things are a little more fleshed out, so those can lead to something else, or sometimes I'll find something that was intended for something else, but it can fit in. So that's where the notebooks come in. And then there's another little exercise that I've developed for myself, because since I said, like I mentioned, I have all these like notebooks, and sometimes I don't have a notebook, so I'll leave myself voice messages, or I'll send myself text messages on my phone if I'm running, or if I'm and something comes into my head. So what I'll do is periodically, once a week or so, I'll sit down with all these things and I'll compile them in one master notebook.
Oh, that's
so that's kind of a exercise where it's a task that I have to perform, because this way they'll all be compiled in one place, and it's particularly useful in if I have to write or I need to write, but I don't want to because I'm being lazy or something. Here's something that needs to be done, which sometimes leads to me writing. So yeah, it's a peculiar little quirky method.
No, that's good. Everyone has to have a system. Everyone has to have something. I think and think and think and think and think, and then all of a sudden I can't take it anymore, and then I spit it all out on the computer. That's how I do it. So there's no one system, Yeah. Let me ask, before we start heading out of here, let's talk about what you're doing now and where people can find you and all of that.
At the moment, I have a production company, and I do a lot of commercials and corporate videos and industrials and things like that. So it's kind of my day job, so to speak. Okay. It's related to directing, but it's sort of what pays the bills.
Okay.
I'm also working on actively trying to get my screenplay off duty, which you read and which you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Get that made, because I think it's very timely, and it's gotten a lot of buzz, and it's gotten some traction. So I want to get that made this year, and hopefully have it out for people early next year. Wow. So these two things are kind of the practical things that I'm working on.
Yeah. And
then I'm also starting work on 2 screenplays. Okay. And so I will, in the next couple of weeks, I'm planning to lay down the structural bones for those, and then I'm going to work on them and tweak them and polish them over the next couple of months. And I have for both of them, I've got the story down in my head. Like, I know the beginning, the middle, and the end.
Yeah.
I know all the turning points. I know all the plot points, because I can't start laying down the structure until I've got that in my head. So the next step is to kind of lay down the structure and then add the meat to the bones, and then add clothes to the meat on the bones. So that's
gotta have meat on the bones. Okay. I want to thank you. We're going to have to start closing up shop. And people can go to don'tgiveupyourddaydream.webs.com to get all of your contact information. It'll all be there.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Samir. I want to finish up with some final words, but
thank you, John. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. This is a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, my final words for this show is titled Shout Fish. I heard a story once that I'm pretty sure isn't completely true, but since those are the best stories, I'm going to share it with you. A friend was working at a New York City real estate firm. It was a family company. The owners were from Russia. Every time there was a problem or an obstacle faced by someone in the firm, they would go to the old man, the patriarch. His advice would always be the same. Shout fish, he would say. After a few weeks, my friend asked a family member what this meant. Shout fish? So here's the story. The family came from a small fishing village in Russia. Life was hard. In fact, it was miserable. Freezing cold, Cossacks, wolves around every corner. It was a hard place to live. One day, the elders in the village got together with a plan. They raised enough money to send the smartest young man in the village to America, where the streets are paved with gold. He will set up a fishing selling business, send money back home, and start building a future in America for all of them. Soon enough, they'll be able to go to America and live their dreams. The young man goes to America. They don't hear from him for months. Then a year goes by. No money sent home, no word at all. So they get together again and raise enough money to send the second smartest man in the village to America to check on the smartest, find out where he is and what he's doing. So the second smartest finds the first after a couple of days. He doesn't contact them. He follows